this is Tina. Welcome to my channel. Tonight the video gonna be different than most or if not all what I was recording till now. As you know, guys, I've been mentioning a couple of times that I have witnessed some paranormal stuff in my life. And tonight I would like to share with you a story of one case that happened a long time ago. I've taken pictures, so I documented it, what happened at one place that I lived. This is the story. Basically, it happened during the 80s. I used to live in UK before, and that particular place was in London. Now, what really happened back then? Maybe I should start that the location was in Notting Hill Gate. So if any of you guys are familiar with London, it's a very well-known place, Notting Hill. It's quite near the center, and the address was number 9 Clanricarde Gardens. It's not very far from the tube station, so it's easy to check. Now, that place was a very tragic place because what happened, it's a tall Victorian building, and it was built in 1869 to 1873, I think. Between that space of time, the buildings were erased and not completed, but they date back to that time. This is what I managed to find on the net. This area was always an area where there was lots of very cheap accommodations between that place. The whole Clanricarde Gardens basically was full of what in Britain people popularly know as bedsits. And landlords used to make quite a bit of money. They were very cheap and they were very convenient for young people or for those who didn't have much money and found a job somewhere and they wanted a cheap accommodation to save on it a little bit. So it was convenient. I don't know these days how it looks like because everything's so expensive, but back then it was very affordable. Now, what happened at that particular address that I've mentioned? It's a very tragic place because in December 1981, I believe, there was a fire there. There was a big fire, and as a result of that fire, 8 people died, and many were damaged and taken to the hospital. And obviously, the building burned quite a bit. From, I believe, from halfway upwards. That was like a massive chunks of it was burned. I couldn't find anything about history of that particular incident until very recently. I was looking online, and what is interesting that there's not much, but I'm going to put a link for you guys. There's a couple of tiny little videos of that incident, actually, of that fire. So I put a link so you can have a look for yourself. Now, that happened in 1981, and as I said, it was very tragic, but I didn't even know about this incident, what happened. Because as it happens, that in 1987, I was looking for a place to stay and between that area because of my job. So I found a bedsit in that very building, yes. I didn't know what I'm gonna experience there, but I remember I was excited because I was desperate to find accommodation. So what really happened, I took this attic room, and that area back when the fire took place was totally destroyed. So everything was rebuilt. And I didn't have a clue that it was rebuilt because there was a fire. I mean, back then it was pre-internet era, and we didn't know I mean, really, unless you really were interested and could ask some locals or go to the library, or people would tell you, like neighbors, but I just wasn't much interested, so I took that room. It was up in the attic, and number 9 Clanricarde Gardens. Now, I moved in there in 1986. Yes, 1986, because the incident that I'm going to talk here took place like less than a year later. So I lived in that place, okay? I moved in and lived in there for like about a year, and nothing happened, okay? Nothing happened. It was kind of spooky place, old, and there were all sorts of different people living in there. Single rooms, bedsits, you know. But I kept myself to myself. I had a couple of friends living on the 3rd floor, and I was in the attic area. So what really happened? In 1987, that was precisely, the date was January 28th, okay. I was away for a week, and then when I came back on that particular day, because I was keeping a diary, so I've written everything down, what happened. I opened the door. It was in the evening when I came in. When I put the light on, I immediately noticed something wasn't right in that room. And when I looked around, I looked up in the ceiling, and there it was. There was a symbol of cross burned on the ceiling. Now, I'm going to show you in a minute with the camera the photos, because there's quite a few different photos I've got in front of me here on the table. If I show you right like this, you won't be able to see much, but I'm going to take a camera in a minute and I'm going to show you guys what happened. The ceiling, when you looked it up, it was like a cross burned, okay, symbol of cross. Now, why symbol of cross? Well, I used to be religious, as you know, okay. I used to be religious. Back then I was religious, although I wasn't like a massive churchgoer or anything. But I considered myself a Catholic. I believe in God. I believed in Jesus. And there was a mirror on the wall that I was facing. And on top of the mirror I put a picture of Jesus. And that picture is going to be visible in one of those pictures, photographs that I've taken. And behind that picture of Jesus, there was a burned, like a hand, like a flamey hand, just behind the picture. Picture was here, you're going to see on the pictures, on the photographs. And the flame, it was just something like that. So it's like somebody quickly zoomed, burned it, flamed, and that cross on the ceiling. Nothing else was visible. This is important what I'm saying, guys. Nothing else on the walls or ceiling was visible, except that burned image of appeared to be like a hand, plus that cross on the ceiling. Now, as it happened at the time, I had a camera, okay, and I had obviously film inside the camera, so I decided to take pictures. So it happens that I took some pictures that very day. I took few, and then on other 2 occasions. But before I took pictures, what really happened, I went quickly downstairs. I was in a shock. I didn't know what to do. Now I have to say here that nobody had access to my room, only the landlords, that they were living on the other side of the road in the basement, and they would never come to anybody's place unless there was some sort of emergency. So there was nobody that had a key to my room, and basically I was the only one who had access. So I went quickly to the friends that lived on the 3rd floor, and I told them what happened. They came there with me. They were shocked to see what we saw. And what really happened, we decided that we're going to fetch a priest that evening. So we went to the nearby church. It was towards Kensington High Street. There's a church street, and there's a church on the corner. So I took them in a car. We drove there. And I asked one of the priests that was there. He was an old guy. I told him that I got some stuff happening, and I'm really scared. I live nearby. And what happened? He immediately said, "Is it Clanricarde Gardens?" And I said, "Yes." "How do you know?" And he wouldn't tell us. But he came with us, to that place. He wouldn't tell us nothing else. And we took him upstairs to that attic place, and he did some prayers. He saw the cross, that burning, and put holy water around everywhere, did like a blessing of the place, I remember, and gave me a bottle of holy water and said, every night before you go to bed, sprinkle the holy water around the bed, because there was a double bed by the window. I was horrified. I thought, oh my goodness. And back then, I mean, I wasn't like I am today, that I got a bit of knowledge. It was a horrific experience. So I remember staying there and sprinkling this holy water every night. I had all the lights on. I wouldn't dare to switch the light off. Now, before I go any further with this story, that very night, as after the priest was visiting, I took a camera, and I remember one of my friends was there with me, and suddenly there was a massive crash on the floor, and I had a photograph of me and my parents on the wall. It was all framed, and it crashed down. The funny thing is that the nail that it was hanging on was intact, and also that loop, that was like a metal loop behind that picture, the photograph, was also intact. And when it smashed, the glass didn't break, nothing was broken. And I got pictures here that this picture is not on the wall here. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take the camera and I'm going to show you guys the pictures, what really happened. Here we go. Okay. Now, this is the first picture. This is the first picture of that cross that was on a ceiling. It was like a burned kind of, as you can see it's all burned. Okay. The next picture showing this from the different angle, and in here you can see the little bit of that in here. Okay, that flame. It's gonna that flame looks like a hand pointing up, with the picture of Jesus standing there. It's going to be more visible on the other picture. Now the third picture, yeah, the picture you see on the in here, this is the one that smashed down onto the floor, this one, and this picture is showing on, it's not in here. Now, something started to happen. This is the picture of the cross. Underneath of that was this picture of Jesus, okay, in here, and behind it, it's a flame of that, what look like a hand, sort of. There's going to be another. Now, what happens in this picture, guys? You see the bottom of this mirror, this very area in here, at the curve S. There. There's a symbol, burned symbol, okay? I'm pointing with the finger. Okay, this is a burned symbol coming up on the surface of the mirror. And here there's another picture. When this burned symbol on this picture, it's moving upwards. Okay, this is the second part of that burned symbol that appears in here. Okay, there it is. And in here, it's a full of it. Next to that cross appears. But when I was taking the photographs, bear in mind, nothing was visible except the cross, except this cross in here. This symbol was not visible with the naked eye. It just appears on a picture, okay? And of course I didn't know at the time, because I just took pictures and I was interested what would happen if I take some photographs. And I will show you this picture again, the previous one, because there's something important in here. Okay. You see there's a crucifix standing, guys. There's a bookshelf, there's some books thrown there, yes, and there's a crucifix standing. Now, this crucifix shouldn't be there, because this crucifix I bought 4 days later on Portobello Market, on a stall from the lady that was selling some religious memorabilia and stuff. It was old. I mean, I've got this cross, in fact, here, and I'm going to show you guys. This is the cross. This cross, okay? This cross. That was bought 4 days later. on Portobello Market. I remember how much I paid. I paid £2.50 at the time. And it's been ever since with me. Yeah. I don't have it on the wall because there was a time when it gave me bad vibes. So, but I'll tell a more story a bit later. Now, I would like to share more photographs because I took another bunch of photographs, and there was another one, for example, you see guys, this one also. This photograph is showing something is happening here on the ceiling. I'm pointing to that. This symbol. What is this? It's not visible. It wasn't visible with the naked eye again. And next picture is shocking because it's showing that the mirror, that big mirror, heavy mirror, disappeared. Nobody took it down. The mirror is supposed to be like in this picture. It was on a wall, okay? And here, the mirror is not here, but you can see quite clearly that burning behind that picture. It was like a thumb at the bottom and like a flame going upwards. I thought it would look like a palm, like a fingers pointing out. And that was, the photograph was taken on the 7th of February 1987. Okay, so yes, the next bunch of pictures, there's some more coming. Again, there's a mysterious symbols appearing again, like this, for example, there, on that wall. That wasn't visible by naked eye. It only came on the picture. And of course that one, the cross would always be on every picture because you could see it. But this wasn't visible, okay? So this one, and this symbol appears on this picture here too. Oops, okay, this one, okay? It's very clear. It's kind of like, oops, I've got some lamps here. This picture, okay, there we go. As you can see, there's up. Then there is a picture of that Jesus standing there, the flame behind, and this very symbol here. I don't even know what it is. It's all looks like it was burned, but you couldn't see it with naked eye. Now, there it is on the ceiling again. This is the next picture, another one. The same symbol next to that picture. Looks like something like a triangle, like somebody sitting on something, like a bone. I don't know what it is. And this one, the cross, that crucifix, levitating in the air. Again, when I was taking the picture, nobody was standing there and throwing that up the air to take this picture. It just appeared there. It wasn't even thrown in the air. It wasn't touched. It was normally standing on that little shelf where I placed it when I bought it on Portobello Market. I put it at the bottom, underneath there. So this is like flying in the air, levitating towards that on a ceiling. And this one, I took a picture. This particular picture was taken with the crucifix standing up on top of the mirror. But for some reason, on the photograph, it appears that it was like resting on its side. So anyway, yeah, those are the photographs. I'm just going to put the camera back, okay? And I don't have a clue what it was, okay, guys? I don't know. All what I'm saying that I had this feeling when I was staying there, because I was living there on my own, that somebody was watching me, that somebody was standing by me, and I didn't have a good feeling though. Oh no, not at all. I was horrified. Between 2 weeks from what happened, I was out. I was day and night basically looking for another accommodation. And it took me 2 weeks to find another place. So I left. And I remember when I was asking a little bit what happened. There was this guy, the restaurant owner, not very far away from where I stayed. It was him who told me that, do you know that there was a fire there and 8 people died? And I said, really? He said, yeah. So he knew. But I didn't have anyone else. And I remembered that message, that what he said all these years ago. And only yesterday when I looked online, Yeah, I found it. I found the article that it said 8 people died there. So this guy was right. All these years I remember that. I mean, it's like, as I said, in 1987 it happened. So that's quite, um, quite a long time rather. So what I'm saying here, guys, if you could perhaps maybe share with me if you know what those signs are, what these symbols could mean, because I don't have a clue. I mean, those looks like some sort of symbols. All what I know that I believe that this is something to do with the place that was burned down, and all these people perished during the fire uh, some years before, and I didn't know. Now, would I move in there if I knew? Probably not, because I used to be horrified of any ghosts, of anything like this paranormal back then, and I would probably stay away from any place that would represent something, some tragedy, or some sort of foul play or whatever, or accident. I would be too afraid. So anyway, um, that was my story, what happened. It still haunts me because I remember how I felt. It's kind of all these years I was thinking back about it, and I meant to make a video with those photographs one day, and suddenly I decided, yeah, that could be a good time to share it. I got a few other stories, but I never documented anything. That was the only one, and all these photographs were taken by me. Yes, thank you for watching, guys. I hope you like this video, and please share your comments if you know anything what those symbols could mean. That would be great. Okay, take care for now. Bye bye.